What's going on this morning, brothers? Craig James here from masculinebydesign.com. Newly branded masculinebydesign.com. Check that out. And on Twitter at masculinedesign. A couple of quick things before I get into the topic this morning, which is what to do when you stop losing fat. First, man, I've been away for, I don't know when I did the last video, maybe a week. And, I've never struggled much with putting out content, with having ideas of things I want to talk about. And, I just went through a time of just needing to withdraw for a little bit, get my thoughts gathered. And I've been spending a lot of time doing design work on masculinebydesign.com and 31 Days to Masculinity, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. But for those of you who are content producers, those of you who are in your place of business, you have to be creative. Man, that's normal. It's normal for you to have a little bit downtime, time when your brain just needs to decompress. You need to recover from just engaging in intense creative thinking all the time. I don't do anything on here except produce content that is based on what I'm living, what I'm thinking, what I'm doing with my life and in the way that I'm leading my family. So it's always come naturally that I've had content to produce. But for the last week or so, just needed some time away. Didn't really have a lot of thoughts that I wanted to get out to the world. Nothing unique. But that's changed. I have a lot of new things I want to talk about now. I've spent that time of decompression to really reflect and think about the value that I have to give to you guys and how I'm going to be doing that over the coming weeks and months. So I'm glad to be back. The other thing I want to talk about is 31 Days to Masculinity. So that is the program that Hunter Drew put together that he and I partner on within the Fraternity of Excellence once a year, every March. And March is about a month away, a little bit less than a month away, but we will kick off the next Men of March 31 Days to Masculinity campaign on March 6th. So you have about a month to sign up to get into that. You can check that out at 31dtm.com. And basically what that program is, it's a program that forces you to reflect on everything you are as a man. Mental, spiritual, physical, every aspect. Forces you to confront the ways that you've gone soft, the ways that you are compromising on your convictions in any of those areas, and to correct course. And you do so with a group of other men who are all going through the same challenges, working through the same issues in their own unique ways, and sharing with one another and holding each other accountable. So it's a fantastic forum that leads to truly remarkable and life-changing results. If that is something that sounds like you would be interested in, you want to check that out again, you can just go to 31dtm.com. All right, so the topic at hand, what to do when you stop losing fat. Now, I want to preface this by saying if you are an individual who is going to watch this video, listen to what I say, and all the time in the back of your mind you're thinking, yeah, but I have a thyroid condition, or what about those who have some genetic disposition and they just can't lose fat? This video is not for you. I do not ascribe to weakness. I do not make excuses in my own life. There are things that I have to deal with. There are hands that I've been dealt that are less than optimal, and I have to work past them just like every man does. If you want to play the victim card and make excuses for why you don't have the body you want to have, why you are sick, fat, and unhealthy, there are plenty of victimhood groups online, on social media or forums that you can go and have your self-conscious stroked a little bit so you don't feel so bad about the poor decisions you're making. That is not what I'm about. That is not what you're about to hear here. I am about to explain to you the ways in which those of you who are done with excuses and who realize that you are responsible for the change you wish to see in your life, you can use what I'm about to discuss with you to start getting a better body, to start losing fat. Now, when we embark on a fat loss goal, which I'm actually working on that right now, so I have a goal to lose body fat this year, particularly by June. I want to get down to about 12-13% body fat, and so I'm working on that. And I've done this many times before, so I know the ropes, I know how it goes. Some of you don't, and a lot of you probably don't, or a lot of you maybe have lost fat, but you haven't ever gotten to the point where you're satisfied with the level of body fat that you have. And the reason most people don't get there is because they hit plateaus, they start struggling, they start dealing with intense hunger as they reduce their calories, and that makes things a little bit more difficult, and they give up, or they just scale back a little bit and maintain where they're at, or maybe put on a few more pounds. But for those of you who have experienced that, for those of you who may be in the midst of that right now, it's February. A lot of people starting January 1st embarked on a goal to get a better body. Most of the time that entails losing body fat for people. And maybe you're there right now. Maybe you've been doing that for a month and you're starting to see your results taper off. Now, when you start to see your results taper off, it's generally a consequence of nothing more than you are eating too much food or not moving enough, you're not exercising enough. And I know there are nuances to that, but at the base level, that is what's going on. Of course, if you're eating a bunch of processed junk that slows your metabolism, that slows fat loss, you want to stop that. You want to make sure that whole foods make up 80 to 90% of your diet. If you're doing that, you should be just fine. So that's step one. Step two is make sure you're actually monitoring your calories. Do you know what you're eating? One of the most problematic situations I find people putting themselves in is they watch what they eat. Quote unquote, watch what they eat. They just try to eat healthier foods, but they're still eating a lot of food. They might be eating better foods, but they're still eating 3,000 calories a day. And if you are trying to lose fat, you can't be eating so many calories that you aren't in a caloric deficit. It doesn't matter what you're eating. You can be eating healthier foods, but if you're not in a caloric deficit, you're not going to be losing body fat. And so you have to get that down pat first and foremost. So start looking at what you're eating, what are your calories, and taper them back. If you spend a week eating a certain number of calories every day, and this requires consistency, guys. If you're all over the map, 4,000 calories one day, 1,000 calories the next day, that makes it very hard to understand where you're at. I guess you could look at a weekly total, but that's not a very good barometer of where you're at overall. You want to be tracking that on a day-to-day basis so you can be making consistent decisions every day that are going to allow you to get the results that you desire. So start tracking your calories, understand where you're at. If you go a week at a certain caloric range and you don't get the results you want, if you don't lose any body fat after eating 2,500 calories every day for a week, guess what? You're going to drop that down to 2,300, 2,200. Just make slight changes. Don't go nuts with it. If you go nuts, you're going to find yourself hungry. You're not going to be able to stick with the plan for very long, and you're going to fail. Make small changes that get you back on track. So that's how you do it with nutrition. One way that you can deal with hunger, if you are hungry as you're tapering back those calories, eat a lot of green foods. Broccoli, salads, or other cruciferous vegetables, like cauliflower. These things are very filling and they don't have a lot of punch in terms of calories. So you can eat a lot of them. They fill your belly. You feel satiated, but you're not getting a ton of calories with it. So that's a great way that you can eat more food without packing on a bunch of calories and compromising your ability to lose body fat. In the gym, you can up your cardio. So let's say you're doing 15 minutes of cardio every day, up that to 20, up that to 25. Another thing that a lot of people find great success with, and I have as well, is switching your cardio. When we do steady state cardio, which I'm a big fan of, I like being able to just sit on the treadmill, walk on a treadmill, and read a book as I'm walking. I love that. I like being able to crack out two things while I'm exercising. But what a lot of people find is that when they switch that up to doing high intensity interval training, so things like resistance sprints, sprints on a bike, elliptical machine, whatever you use, that tends to lead to better results because you burn more calories for your time that you're doing cardio in the moment, and it also leads to a greater metabolic boost after the fact. So you're going to burn more calories after your training is done. So switching your cardio is a great way to get those results. Now, at the end of the day, as I said, if you are in a caloric deficit, you will lose fat. So when I'm talking about eating, vegetables, when I'm talking about changing up your cardio, these are just things to help enhance that caloric deficit a little bit better. But at the end of the day, if you're exercising and you're eating in alignment with your goals, you're going to get the results. So when you're not getting the fat loss results that you want, or when you stop losing fat, it's simply a matter of needing to manipulate your calories by a little bit, change your exercise patterns by a little bit, and you will start getting those results that you desire. You know, I've gotten down to single-digit body fat percentage once, maybe twice. One time I was kind of hovering around 10%, maybe 9%. And both times I did it without killing myself. I wasn't spending 10 hours a week in the gym. I was spending 4.5 hours on average lifting weights and doing cardio. But I was meticulous about what I was eating, how I was, when I was eating these things, and measuring my results, measuring the amount of food that I was eating. And that's how it gets done, guys. If you're not losing fat, it generally comes down to diet. Yes, you can hone some things in on your exercise, but if your diet is not on point, if you're not eating in alignment with your goals, if you're not maintaining a caloric deficit, that fat loss isn't going to happen. Plain and simple. You know, as I mentioned earlier, all these guys that want to talk about, you know, oh well, I have a thyroid problem, or you don't understand. You know, my body just isn't made to be thin and lean. Yeah, you're also eating 3,000 calories a day. You're also not exercising effectively. You're not exercising as much as you should. So again, spare me the victim Olympics. You can go somewhere else. Somebody else will listen. I'm not going to hear it. Get your diet in order. Get your training in order, and you will start losing fat. Now, for those of you who are a little confused, you need a systematic approach to getting those results that you desire, to building muscle, to burning body fat. I have put that together for you in my book that I've titled Death Blow to the Dad Bod. You can check that out by going deathblowtothedadbod.com. I have everything in there. I explain how to manipulate your calories. I explain what to eat, when to eat it, how to train, why it's effective, how to manipulate your diet when fat loss results stop, how to measure your results to know when it's time to manipulate your diet. Everything is included in there. You can get that book for $20. I also have upgrade options in there. So if you want to get access to a chat forum with other men going through the program, you can do that as well. Or if you want some one-on-one support from me, you can get that option also. But $20 for the book is all it is, guys. And if you're struggling with building the kind of body you want as a man, I can't recommend getting that book enough. Again, $20. Go to deathblowtothedadbod.com. That's all I have for you today, man. If you have any comments, you got any strategies, things that you've done that help you lose body fat, share them in the comments below. Subscribe to this video so you can get notified as I produce new videos here on a regular basis. Like I said, the content is flowing, it's coming. You don't want to miss out on this. And be sure to follow me on Twitter @MasculineDesign. And if you want to join a tribe of men all working to live lives of excellence and all that it means to be a man, check out what Hunter and I are doing leading inside of the Fraternity of Excellence at fraternityofexcellence.com. Thank you for watching this morning, man. Until next time, this is Craig James. I am out.